All right, everybody, it is time for a throwdown between traditional ADT and its newish DIY counterpart, Blue by ADT. We're going to look at the similarities, differences, and the pros and cons of each of these ADT offerings. Our matchup will break down our top 5 comparison areas to help you see if either of these ADT systems is right for you. We're going to look at price and monitoring, installation, equipment and tech, compatibility, and those pesky contracts. If you want to get the full skinny about each of these security systems, read the complete reviews on Safewise.com. Here we go. If ADT and Blue by ADT were siblings in a family photo, it would be nearly impossible to see any resemblance between them when it comes to pricing. With ADT in general, there's no way to completely get out of upfront costs. If you go with ADT's traditional home security setup, you're going to pay an installation fee, and that is going to range between $99 and around $200. The difference comes down to whether or not you pick a plan that includes home automation. And you may also need to shell out some extra cash for any equipment upgrades you add on. The bad news is that you might not know what that extra cost is until your installation actually happens. But if you go with a standard ADT package, your equipment costs are rolled into your monthly service fee, and you could technically get into an ADT system for nothing more than $100. If you go with a Blue by ADT DIY security system, you'll need to pay for all the equipment you want up front. Blue's Build Your Own Security Kit starts at around $110, but that only includes the bare minimum, your security system hub and the keypad, but there's not even one sensor included. However, they have other packages that include between 8 and 15 pieces, which include those important sensors that you need, and those range anywhere from around $200 on up to $350. But only one of those packages includes a security camera. The higher end $350 package has a doorbell cam. So if you add cameras to your Blue by ADT setup, it's definitely going to jump up that price. And Blue by ADT's cameras range from $60 for their indoor camera on up to $200 each for their smart camera options. These are the fees you pay to have ADT's professional monitoring centers keep an eye on your house and call for help when something happens. Overall, you're going to pay more for monitoring with an OG ADT security system, but don't forget that the equipment is basically included in your monthly service fee, which is going to keep those upfront costs lower. Monitoring for ADT starts around $28, and that's just for basic landline monitoring. So that means you're not going to get any high-tech extras like the mobile app, push notifications, video clips, or smart home integration. From there, packages range between about $37 and $63 a month for your monitoring service. The more bells and whistles you want, things like video monitoring, home automation, mobile app control, the more that monthly fee is going to go up. And here's the real clincher. With ADT, you have to have a monthly fee. There is no option for you to monitor an ADT system on your own. So you can't buy the equipment and then just use an app to watch your home by yourself, which leads us to Blue by ADT. Now, the best thing about Blue monitoring is it's just like nearly every other DIY home security system out there. Straightforward, simple, and cheaper. No matter what equipment package you choose with Blue, Pro monitoring is going to run you $20 a month, straight up. And that will include the mobile app, smart home control, and video monitoring if you add cameras to your system. But Blue by ADT actually lets you opt out of monthly monitoring altogether. So if you don't want a monthly fee at all, you automatically get access to the Blue by ADT mobile app. And that means that you can keep an eye on your home and your security system sensors all by yourself. But just remember that if you do opt for self-monitoring, that means it's up to you to call for help if something happens. Here's what the scorecard looks like so far. Upfront costs. ADT is cheaper because with Blue, you have to pay for all of your equipment upfront. But when you look at monthly monitoring fees, Blue by ADT is cheaper, and they also give you the option to drop monitoring altogether. Once again, there is no family resemblance between these two when you look at installation. your only option with ADT is professional installation. Good news with that is it includes a free home security assessment. It ensures that you're going to have correct installation and placement of all your security sensors and cameras, and you're also going to get an in-person demo and an orientation to your system, so you can test it out and ask questions and make sure you know how it all works before that installer walks out the door. The downside, you have to make an appointment, and that can mean taking time off work, and then you get to sit around and wait for the installer to show up. And that also means that you have to have someone come into your home, which, thanks to COVID-19, comes with a lot more baggage than it used to. With Blue by ADT, your only option is to install the system yourself. On the plus side, you don't have to coordinate with anyone else. You can install this baby on your own schedule. And you don't have to worry about a stranger coming into your home. But you are going to miss out on the experience of a trained security system installer, and that means you have to decide where everything goes. But I have a bonus tip for you. Buy extra command strips in case you have to try a couple of times to find the perfect spot for that sensor or that camera. And finally, if you're running into trouble in a self-install, your only options for help are to call, email, chat, or watch videos. You don't have that person right there on hand to help you out. So when it comes to scoring the installation section, I'm gonna call it a draw, because I think it really comes down to your personal preference and your comfort level, whether that's comfort doing it yourself or relying on a stranger to come in and make that happen. This is where the family resemblance becomes so faint that it's really more like an evolutionary jump. It is no surprise that if you go with ADT for your home security system, you're going to get a wider selection of both home security equipment and compatible smart home devices. And to be fair, I mean, this is just the nature of full service home security versus scaled down DIY home security. But if you're looking to cover your entire home and your full property, you are going to have more and better options, including full integration with Google Nest products with an original ADT system. But you don't automatically get access to the mobile app, and other features like smart home automation and video monitoring are going to cost you more. When it comes to DIY home security, Blue stands out thanks to its full array of home security cameras. In this arena, Blue has been ahead of DIY superstar SimpliSafe, which just barely released its first outdoor security cam. Yay, we're very excited. So other than Blue's full suite of security cams, there's not a lot to write home about when it comes to the equipment. Blue by ADT has your basic DIY security setup. But the good news is you do get full access to the mobile app, including smart home and video, and that's not going to cost you an extra dime. If you buy Blue by ADT equipment, you get the tech that supports it. So in the realm of equipment, it's really no contest. This one goes to the OG ADT. Although I do ding them for holding that mobile app hostage for more money. I hate that. Both ADT and Blue by ADT have fairly standard smart home compatibility, but there are a few notable differences. The big feather in ADT's smart home cap is its partnership with Google Nest. It's kind of like a royal wedding, and if you care about that kind of thing, it's really a big deal. But if smart home isn't really your thing, you're not going to be dazzled. Where ADT stumbles is holding out on smart home integration through its app. You can't get that until you're at the very highest tier. So the only way to fully take advantage of this awesome union is basically to help pay for the wedding. Now, Blue isn't after those royal tabloid headlines and wedding dress copycats, but it does a respectable job with full Z-Wave and if this then that capabilities. Best of all, Blue lets you have full control from the get-go with the mobile app. You don't even have to pay for monthly monitoring to get smart home control. But you do need to be aware that the Blue by ADT app is known to be a little bit glitchy, so you might need to practice some patience as those quirks get worked out. When you look at straight up smart home compatibility and control, Blue by ADT wins out, even with Google Nest on board for ADT. But they both fail when it comes to working together. The biggest shock of all for most of us was to learn that ADT and Blue by ADT equipment is not mix and match. If you're hoping to switch from one to the other and try to save a few bucks by using your current equipment, I'm sorry to say that you are in for disappointment. It is not going to happen. Contracts, contracts, contracts. Well, the short version is that with ADT you have them, and with Blue by ADT you don't. But no contracts is why you have to buy your Blue by ADT equipment up front. And ADT's 3-year contract is why your upfront costs are lower. But it's likely your long-term obligation and overall costs will be higher with the OG ADT. So in this case, I think it's an easy win for Blue by ADT. You can add Pro monitoring or not. You can stop Pro monitoring whenever you want, no penalty. And then you can start it back up again whenever you want, no extra fees. But with ADT, you get a 3-year commitment, early cancellation fees, that is up to 75% of your remaining contract, and there's no way to get ADT without the contract. It's simply part of the deal. Now, unlike some of our other Versus videos, I'm not gonna call a clear winner in this one, because when you come right down to it, we're not comparing apples to apples. It's a square peg in a round hole. And I'm sure there are more cliches that I could throw out there, but I think the winner out of ADT versus Blue by ADT really comes down to your personal security priorities and preferences. So instead of declaring an overall winner, I'm gonna play matchmaker instead. Here's my take on who I think each brand is the best fit for. I've said it multiple times, ADT is the OG when it comes to home security, and you get top of the line everything with an ADT home security system. So you're a perfect match for ADT if you care more about convenience than cost, you're not into DIY, you're a tech geek and love all the integrations, especially Google Nest, and a 3-year commitment doesn't freak you out. On the other hand, Blue by ADT is one of the most comprehensive DIY security systems out there, and it does come with the ADT name and its unparalleled monitoring protection. I think you're a perfect fit for Blue by ADT if you love a DIY project, you're not sure if you want professional monitoring, you're willing to put in a little extra effort to save some money, and you like the no strings attached approach. Well, that's it. How ADT and Blue by ADT stack up in 5 of our top comparison areas. At the end of the day, you can't go wrong with either of these systems. And the difference really comes down to whether or not you want a DIY setup. If you need a little more info before making a decision, you can check out our video of the 10 best home security systems of 2021, or read all about each system that we test and review on safewise.com. And make sure you don't miss out on any new videos. And to make sure you don't miss out on any new video reviews and showdowns, like this video and subscribe to our channel. Until we meet again, stay safe.